Hello and welcome to Note to File, a clinical research podcast.
A collection of interviews, candid commentary, and general nonsense for the clinical research community.
Check us out at notetofilepodcast.com.
And now, without further ado, on to the show.
Hey guys, welcome to another Note to File. Sticky notes, and apparently there's people doing all kinds of yard work outside my window, so
Which
bear
is
with me.
wild, because it's December 16th, and so in my mind, people don't do yard work.
Yeah, we've still got trees with leaves on them, and apparently enough grass to be mowed, and enough to where they need to have extremely loud, leaf blowers directly under my office. So if you're listening, especially on audio as they're getting closer and closer, then my apologies. But, what can you do? As you noted, today is December 16th, and today is National Stupid Toy Day.
Okay, so, I mean, it's, I guess, relevant for the holidays time frame, but like stupid toys, do they have examples when you look this up? Like,
Yeah, that's a good
what's
question.
a stupid toy? Because I feel like
literally...
that's real subjective.
So here, let's see what kind of examples it may give us. Of course, this gives me no useful examples at all.
Because like, there's stupid toys for my children to have, and then there's stupid toys for others' children to have, and I feel like they're not necessarily the same. So like, really loud toys or Furbys, for example.
So yeah, it does reference. It did reference some stuff like that. Tamagotchis.
I love Tamagotchis. I used to love them. They're incredible. They're just like, I mean, it's the most asinine thing. Like, you feed it, you clean up its poop, and you bathe it, and then it dies. Like, I mean, I remember that was
just like real life. You're born, you shit, and you die.
Yep, just all summed up. But no, I remember there was like Tamagotchi daycares at like school. I mean, that a throwback. I liked that one. See, I remember the Furby craze. That one was, I guess, less stupid, more creepy.
So yeah, it says here, National Stupid Toy Day is celebrated annually on December 16th, a fun, unofficial holiday to reminisce about silly childhood toys like pet rocks, Furbies, and Tamagotchis, acknowledging the oddities we once loved and embracing the simple, sometimes absurd joy of play. So
would like Labubu's fit into this?
Say that again?
Would Labubu's fit into
this? I mean, I don't see how they wouldn't, frankly. It's a creepy little ogreish thing.
Okay, so my kids don't listen to this podcast, so I can say this, but I definitely did get them and my niece and nephew Labubu's, if they, are real and arrive in time. But I was like,
I don't know. There's a pretty big gray market for Labubus that are, a lot of fake ones out there. So you better take it, get it authenticated.
I will absolutely not be doing that.
LinkedIn user. I love the good, fast, cheap toy. I think this is actually Daniel Fox. So shout out Daniel Fox. You show up as LinkedIn user for some reason on my stream, but I agree. So if you're in the comments, what's your favorite stupid toy? I think mine might be Magic 8-Ball.
I like those quite a bit. And now there's all the iterations of them too that have like the different, like some like the normal ones, but then there's like the anti-aspirational ones, or like they have like themes and stuff.
Oh, they're really doing like getting crazy with it,
they do like
some variations.
Mm-hmm. I like that one. The pet rock example was interesting to me.
I mean, that was like before my time, before your time, presumably, right? That was like in the 70s.
I don't know. I mean, they
pet rock craze.
You know what else? The chia seed heads.
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
Those would count because they look super cool. You want like the Bob Ross chia head, and then in practice they just really also fall down pretty hard.
Yeah, they don't really look so great. Yeah, pet rock craze was 1975. So
that wasn't that was before your time.
How dare you? Sorry, we need to cancel the podcast. The host is a smart ass. Dude, Bop It, dude. I can't tell you, Justin, shout out. We used to go on like long car trips when I was a kid. We used to go camp. We drove to like, Oklahoma to Wyoming. And we had a Bop It in the car. And pretty sure we were on the verge of being murdered at all times because the Bop It is so loud and terrible. So
I was gonna say, like, God bless your parents.
yeah, somehow.
Choice. Like,
Yeah, I mean, I don't know whose idea it was to hand 3 kids a Bop It in the back seat and be like, go to town, because the thing's terrible. I can still hear it in my voice.
flick
Or
it.
in my mind. I can still,
Bop it.
turn it. Bop it.
Yeah.
Although I will say, I was pretty damn good when it came to Bop It. And maybe we should, at the next conference, we should organize a Bop It tournament.
Okay.
So if you're listening, I guess I have a conference, so I can do this if I want to.
There you go.
Just organize a small Bop It tournament.
Whole bracket version. But then they made different versions of it, didn't they?
Probably. There was like a small one for sure. I know there was like a mini Bop It.
I mean, I'm with Steve Wimmer on this one.
I mean, again, we did. I don't know. Maybe my dad was just real good at cranking up the classic rock tune so he didn't have to hear Bop It in the back seat.
Yeah.
But
I feel like my play on that is like, oh, battery's dead. Yup, sorry.
Oliver with the Tamagotchi shout out, which again, I never played with the Tamagotchi. I think I even bought one for one of my kids, but I don't know. It seemed more of like a girl thing than a boy thing. Like I just never played with a Tamagotchi.
Maybe they also had like Digimon. Like it was like you could like battle them and you could like put the things together.
Dude, creepy crawlers are not stupid toys. Okay, I loved my creepy crawlers. This is also Daniel Fox shout out. I used to love to make those things. I used to like even take them fishing. Caught some nice hybrid bass on some creepy crawlers as a kid. Creepy crawlers.
I desperately tried to find creepy crawlers. I wanted to get them for my kids because we went hard on creepy crawlers too. And apparently massive, safety concerns. Apparently putting hot metal and heating up like molten, rubber plastic. It could cause burns.
That's shocking. Just give kids the ability to give themselves third-degree burns with no adult supervision.
Yeah, we went hard on creepy crawlers too. And then like Easy Bake Oven was like the domestic iteration of that. Like creepy crawlers was like the boy version of the Easy Bake Oven with like the light bulb that cooked the.
Yeah, for sure. Steve Wimmer, I think this is a Saturday Night Live skit. Get the kids a box of broken glass and a box of Band-Aids and tell them to share. Pretty sure there's an old Saturday Night Live skit that's like a bag of broken glass for kids. So I'll have to look that up. All right. Well, keep telling us about your stupid toys because, good stuff. There's no shortage.
'Tis the season, right?
It tis the season. It's my favorite time of season because it's the only time you can say 'tis the season and not sound like a psychopath.
Just for that, I'm bringing this over in like Easter. Easter podcast.
Please,
Tis the season.
Please absolutely do not do that. All right, before we dive in, remind everybody that we are available on pretty much all audio formats. If you want to do us a real big favor, go over to YouTube and give us a subscribe. I hate telling people that, but do it anyway.
We're doing that now.
Honestly, right now, I want you to stop the podcast and tell 6 of your friends that this is the best podcast that ever existed and that they should listen to it. Okay? That's all I want for Christmas.
Okay. Just that.
Okay, Steve. It was a Stephen Wright joke, which that tracks. Okay, let's dive in, shall we?
Yeah, what do we got?
I can make this work. Am I doing it?
You're doing it. What's the title, though?
Cool. So this was actually, I think, a little while back, and I missed it on maybe the last sticky notes we did, but I thought it was interesting. Paradigm Health acquiring Flatiron's clinical research business, which I believe was owned or a part of Roche.
That sounds right, but I don't know.
I'm pretty sure that's the case. And Paradigm is a company I've been like, I wouldn't say following, but been sort of seeing pop up and unclear as to what it is that they're doing, which is fine.
They're collectors.
I mean, it seems because they also bought Deep.
They bought Deep Lens.
Deep Lens.
One of those recruitment ones. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm not sure what this means necessarily, but apparently the partnership creates the largest oncology research network in the United States, whatever that means. So yeah, Paradigm Health, Flatiron announced that Paradigm will acquire Flatiron's clinical research business. The transaction includes the industry's most extensive tech-enabled U.S. oncology research network, and Flatiron's suite of clinical research solutions establishes a multi-year collaboration between the two orgs that to maximize benefits for blah 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 blah. Together, they're transforming how clinical trials are conducted. Again, stuff that says words but doesn't make entirely clear what it is they do. We have some quotes here from Kent Delkey. Sorry, Kent. I'm sure I butchered your name. I did my best. From Paradigm, as well as Nathan Harbour from Flatiron. I'd be really curious to know more about this. I mean, I know we talked about it earlier in the week. Is it, I don't know, any insight on your part at all?
Honestly, a lot of these things I feel like, I don't know, I'm of two minds. One, there's like a master plan and like people are thinking about this and they have some investors and a board that's like putting together some plan of put that everything kind of makes sense and, you know, it's going to be this like masterful plan and play where these all integrations dovetail nicely and, you know, work together. And then the other part of me is like, I think people just kind of just wing shit and they're like, that could work. We'll make a story behind it. We'll put it into Gemini and come up with some synergies and like buy it. But I don't know. I mean,
I know Steve, yeah, I believe Paradigm took down like something like $100 million. I mean, apparently it didn't go away. They're doing stuff. I've interacted with them a little bit on LinkedIn, and I don't think they like it just because I've been like, what do you do? What do? Which they seem offended by, which is fair. But
I mean, well, no, if it's not obvious what you do, that is a very valid question.
Well, and sometimes it's not clear to me if it is it obvious, is it not obvious, or am I just kind of like a little obtuse? But let's see here. The transaction includes a long-term strategic partnership where the two organizations will work to natively integrate Paradigm Health solutions into Flatiron's OncoEMR and deploy new capabilities. Paradigm Health will provide research support to all Flatiron Health OncoEMR customers and Flatiron's existing clinical research partner academic medical centers and health systems.
So are they trying to embed their patient recruitment functionality they acquired a couple of years ago and they're like, well, shit, what do we do with this? It doesn't work. Or we don't like, that's the big issue with all these recruitment vendors that operate into EHR recruitment is you have to have access to the EHR and that's fucking hard. And so if you buy the vendor, then it's
that's actually not, I mean, that's not
a bad idea.
Yeah. If that's the case, and that's kind of what I took away from reading it earlier is that, you know, we've seen a lot of solutions out there for, you know, patient matching, but to your point, I want to use them. That'd be great. But I work with a bunch of different, you know, clinics, health system. They're not going to be like, sure, just give us your weird software and embed it, you know, somewhere into our EMR or integrate it. Like they don't like that. So if instead, you know, you're going the other route and you're like buying the EMR, you can integrate your solution and then anyone who has access could potentially
so that EHR uses it. Yeah, I mean it's interesting concept because I mean even for sites who own their EHR, you know, or like large AMCs or hospital and health systems, like their data governance structures and data privacy and security, especially since the Change Healthcare breach happened, has been incredibly locked down. So if you're saying like, hey, give me access to screen and like scrub all of your patient records, like that becomes like a big like nah answer from your, you know, security and infosec teams. Like, so it's an interesting angle to take. So maybe that's what they're doing, which could be potentially impactful. I mean, they would have to have, if they're looking for specifically in oncology, their recruitment tools would have to be pretty robust because then you're getting into very detailed I&E criteria, especially for oncology trials with like biomarkers and stuff that you have to be able to really get into like the genetics and all of that of it. And a good chunk of those recruitment vendors don't go to that level of depth or can't do that detail. Presumably they would be able to do that here, but interesting.
But I mean, it sounds like, unless I'm mistaken, you start a company, you just buy two companies and smash those two companies together. You buy a deep lens, you buy an EMR, you just smash the two together, and all right, we did it.
What did this is my ignorance showing, but what did Paradigm do before that?
Well, and so I was going to read this because I think maybe it's, I don't know if
Maybe we
it's
can learn
useful or
something.
not, but we'll talk about Flatiron EMR. OncoEMR is an industry-leading EHR for community oncology. Great. You know what? I know what it is. Paradigm Health is rebuilding the clinical research ecosystem by creating a platform that enables equitable access to trials for all patients while enhancing trial efficiency and reducing the barriers to participation for healthcare providers.
You know what I'm gonna do in my
What does that mean?
next life? I'm gonna start a PR company that actually fucking says something.
No,
because this shit pisses me off.
I mean, again, very kind of broad language, but
well, it doesn't say what they do; it says what they're trying to accomplish.
Yeah, not so much
this is the problem we're going to solve. We're going to solve clinical research access.
Well, we can check them out. Again, I've been wanting to get somebody on from Paradigm.
That'd be great. I'd love to know what they actually do.
We all reach out, or if you guys know anybody who works for Paradigm, I'd be curious just to talk to them. I mean, I'm sure there's more to it, and I want to give them a little bit of grace, I guess. Let them come on and talk about it, because they raise a lot of money to do something. So,
well, and I think it's an interesting value prop that they have here, especially with OncoEMR is community oncology.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a needed space that needs to be built out in a research space. So if they can do this and they're doing it well with deep lens, I mean, yeah.
I mean, the other side of it, though, is that, like, I mean, we know that community oncology is not exactly, like, staffed up to be running trials, like, generally speaking, to my knowledge. So, I mean, we work with some, but we see that there's still a big need for it. So are they just addressing sort of like the, technology integration piece? Is there a service piece, or is it just now making it to where they can do research more easily on their? Again, I'm curious what the like implications and what other potential service they have here.
Yeah, more to come.
Emerson, wonder if that is why OncoEMR made sense as well, because of biomarkers. It's hit and miss with EMRs having capability to have cutting edge genetic information. That's true, although we've seen people like Tempest like really address this very well, even Keras, I guess, to a degree. Which we know about Tempest. I mean, they went public and their stock's been out of control. I have my own thoughts about Tempest. We can talk about that some other time. Let's move on. It's that time of the year where everybody's making forecasts and predictions about 2026. Not my favorite thing. At least for me personally. I like reading other people's perspectives because, it is interesting. And I guess I'll give some credit to anybody who has any inkling that they may be able to tell what's going to happen in the future.
Maybe they have a magic 8-ball.
They could have a magic 8-ball. So there's a few here. We'll just kind of hit on a couple and maybe get some, quick takes. Be curious to hear quick takes from the audience and from you as well, since you're such a prophet.
Okay, what we got?
Well, we got the COO of Transcelerate, which I'd love to do a whole piece about Transcelerate as well, if I'm being perfectly honest.
Put it in the parking lot.
Do what?
To put it in the parking lot.
I don't know what that means. Is that some kind of...
We're going to circle back. Put it in the parking lot and we'll circle back.
No corporate speak. All right, get out of here. 2026 will be defined by uncertainty, which seems fair. Great. Regulatory uncertainty will also intensify and will manifest differently by region, which is, I mean, frankly, something that I don't even consider, which I probably should, that like, it's hard enough here, but like being a company who is international and working with like all of these other regions and countries must be incredibly challenging. AI has the potential to accelerate R&D, reduce cost, and modernize trials, but adoption remains the question. Will pharma embrace this technology, or will uncertainty and ingrained conservatism lead to a retreat to familiar methods? 2026 will test whether uncertainty becomes a catalyst for transformation or a reason to hold back. What do you think?
I mean, I think it's interesting. A lot of that prediction is uncertainty and unknown. Which like hard to argue with that.
That's true. I guess that's a pretty lukewarm take, let's say, and probably not wrong.
Well, right. Like, I mean, that's what my predictions would sound like.
All right, let's see what Beth Harper, president of Clinical Performance Partners, has to say. BYOT is on the rise, which I'm not sure that I've seen be the case. 2026 hold promise for sponsors investing even more in understanding site needs, leveraging existing site technologies, which breeds its own series of questions and discussion about existing site technologies. While AI dominates much of the discussion, while being sponsor of choice has been an undercurrent, we're starting to see substantive action by sponsors to address technology burden sites face. I'm not sure that we have. Various initiatives, recognizing investment sites making operational and clinical technologies, including digital health technologies or DHT. Hopeful the integration with site tech stacks will continue so we can finally realize their true potential. So, I mean, you work for
I work for a site tech vendor, yeah.
Sort of, yeah, in a way. But are these considered are these site tech stacks? They're not really site tech stacks. I mean, we
it depends
use
on
them.
what you're talking about. Arguably that's the whole move that Viva is making right now, right? Is we have sponsor tech that's used by sites, but we also are spinning up our site tech stack.
Fair.
So, I mean, I think it's interesting because I think, I shouldn't work where I work if I didn't believe that to some extent, right? Like, I'm hearing the right things from the sponsor side. Like, we're talking to sponsors about stuff. I think the thing I struggle with is we've heard it for a while that and so I feel like it's moved in that, we've been moving in that direction for a couple of years. I don't know what's going to be the thing that finally switches it to say where it's yeah, we want sites to lean into their tech. We want to do this. We want to empower them to have their own stuff. And that's been something that's been an undercurrent for a couple of years. I would argue.
Yeah, sure.
I think the question I have is where it turns into action. To your point, I mean, I think a couple months ago you posted about challenges with e-consent. We're just not being allowed to use it. So it's we're hearing one thing, and I think at leadership levels, at sponsors, we're hearing that, but then it falls down as it gets to execution in the operational level at some level with things like that. Which is why I think you're seeing all of these different vendors, Viva included. The goal is to connect site and sponsor to connectivity to enable sites to actually use their own technology. And if you can crack that, then yeah, I think sponsors absolutely would, because then it makes things more efficient. All of the stories of why that should be the case. It's just that piece is key, making the connectivity between sponsor tech and site tech actually real and helpful. So yes, but we'll see.
Yet. I'm not sure if 2026 is the year, but hopefully we make some progress.
Yeah.
I'll say.
I agree with that.
Yeah. I mean, obviously that's been, again, something bubbling for quite a while.
It's been a conversation topic. At least 5-6 years.
Okay. We got Dan Otap.
What's he have to say?
He's got to say that globally in 2026, primary strategic imperative is the mandatory institutionalization of ICH E6 Revision 3, good clinical practice, compelling all sponsors to integrate risk-based quality management, which is something we've been talking about for 20 years probably, right? To modernize framework support the essential scaling of technologies like AI for automated protocol optimization and DCTs to achieve faster, more resilient global trial execution. There's a lot of words here. I don't know. It's interesting. Local regional U.S. operations face the urgent, non-negotiable January 1, 2026 deadline for the FDA's Diversity Action Plan, which I guess I'm curious to see if that stands, which demands immediate utilization of real-world evidence analytics to set and justify diverse patient enrollment goals. Operational success hinges on strengthening the sponsor CRO solution provider NGO site relationship. It's a lot of relationships by proactively reducing site administrating. I can't talk. Reducing site administrating.
You sure can't. Site administration.
Yeah, administrative and technological burden to maintain capacity and accelerate critical study startup timelines. Okay.
I mean, it gets back into that whole concept of you have the entire chain of custody, right? Between every party involved and how do we streamline that communication. The thing I think is interesting here is talking about the globalization and the global impacts, which, yeah, it'd be interesting to see how that, how the global trial landscape continues to shift and change with the changes that are happening here domestically. Like, especially, I was chatting with someone today and it's like, the U.S. makes like 60%, up to 60% of the population, of the research volume right now. And so then you look at where the other research is being conducted at other places, right? So what the impacts are globally will be interesting to see what the changes we have going on here in the States.
Fair. I got nothing to say. My brain's already overloaded by so many words. We have Joel White, who talks a lot about CROs. It's kind of his lane. The stage is set for strong rebound in CRO financial performances in 2026. Biotech funding is trending back up. Biotech equities as a group are very strong, and pharma spend that was held back in recent years appears to be getting unlocked. CRO performance is already evidencing the rebound of the past couple quarters. CRO execs are talking much more optimistically. The key thing he'll be looking for is whether the rebound includes genuine growth in organic service fees or instead a continued boost from artificial items like pass-through costs and exchange rates.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to ask. Like, we're seeing rebound, but is this like the business wizard rebounds?
Yeah, these are publicly traded companies. They gotta
look a certain way.
Yeah. And I don't know. I'm curious because at the same time, I keep hearing more about like the, potential shift from CROs, and especially as site networks continue to grow and become capable of a lot more. And I feel like there are more vendors addressing some of the things that CROs do, and maybe
or have done historically.
Yeah, and maybe more efficiently and better. So I'm really curious to see if CROs continue to take a hit. I don't know. Again, this is a world where I'm not probably talking out of my ass a little bit, but it's
interesting though, because I think I've also, when you talk to some of the sponsors too, some of the direction is like, having power and control over their own destiny. And I think we see this swing, right, where it's like there's now more tools for them to potentially do it in-house, less full service, right? Like maybe you still need CROs for some components of it, but I think the full service nature of it I've seen swung, and I'm not convinced that it's trending back to that direction given the tools, other things that folks are taking on, other vendors, site networks that are taking on, like creeping into that space of what the CROs historically offered in that full service model. So I'm not necessarily convinced that we're swinging back that direction. Now, whether that doesn't mean the CROs can pivot and excel in other areas, that would be an interesting shift to see how that happens. But yeah, I'm not necessarily convinced based on what I've heard in the space.
Yeah, same, but we'll see. I know Joel tends to be, he seems always very bullish on CROs, which is fine. I guess maybe that's kind of his, bailiwick, so to speak. But I'm the same. I'll remain apprehensive, let's say. Lastly, my favorite pharma bro, Robert Goldman. Clinical research in 2026 is shaping up to be a year of brutal efficiency and massive reinvention. Already don't agree with that, but all good. AI stops being a shiny add-on. It becomes a backbone of trial design, patient matching, and real-time decision-making. Sponsors push hard into hybrid and decentralized models to fix enrollment bottlenecks and widen access, while global site networks in Asia and Latin America expand because U.S. timelines and budgets aren't getting easier. I can see that being the case. At the same time, the industry faces tight capital, higher regulatory scrutiny, staffing shortages, and intensifying pressure to deliver ROI on every protocol decision. Blah, blah, blah. In short, 2026 rewards the sponsors and sites that run clinical research like a high-performance business and punishes anyone still operating like it's 2012. I want to agree with that, but I want to say that in many ways, sponsors almost expect sites to run like 2012. Again, just like I'm talking about, like we're trying to institute e-consent. We have sponsors who want us to use paper, which is so confusing to me. I think it's that's a very optimistic and idealistic prediction, but not so sure I've seen that be the case. I don't know. What do you think?
I don't know.
We don't reward efficiency in what we do. I really don't feel like we do. And almost on purpose, almost like baked in. And again, you go back to the CRO thing. Like CROs really have no
it's
incentive to be efficient.
They're de-incentivized based on the
Correct.
compensation model to have efficiency in the same way, right? Like, not
And
that
hey, if you paid my site by the hour, I'd come up with all kinds of shit to do. But you don't. Sites are one of the few, I think, that have to show. Well, and I guess maybe the sponsor wants efficiency as well, but when the CRO is in the middle, I think that creates a lot of misalignment, because sites need to be efficient, because I only get paid if I enroll a patient who meets the criteria. All the work I did before that for the patients that don't qualify, again, you can get into
sponsors are like that at a macro
we don't do
level,
that.
right? Sponsors
Correct,
get
yeah.
paid when their drugs go to market
Correct,
and they
correct.
sell. So they want to get this shit to market as fast as possible and make it
But the
effective.
CRO gets paid either way, right?
Right, and they don't get right, and it's not paid based on necessarily milestones, which is, I think, fundamentally, like, I think the work is necessary. I think the business models don't make a whole lot of sense. It's also interesting too, where it's like, I think we want efficiency, we want change, we want to lean in and like innovate, and we have a lot. Like, you go to every conference and any leader at any site, any sponsor, any CRO is talking about innovation and change and efficiency, but the risk tolerance does not match that.
Yeah, I know, it's very minimal. Yeah.
And so it's until we change that and become less risk adverse, like, I don't think we're truly going to lean into embracing efficiency and these new technologies. I think we had a comment earlier about the AI bubble with regulations and commercialization. I don't know who that's from.
Yeah, that was Daniel Fox.
Which, like, that's where we're going to see changes, is when it, like, I think we respond more to sticks than we do to carrots. And I think that's what drives this forward, unfortunately.
Yeah, no, I don't necessarily disagree. I had another one pulled up from Reddit about AI and CRA, but we're going to skip it. We're already at our time today. Maybe we'll bring it up next time.
There you go.
We're getting down to the end of the year. I don't know. I mean, we haven't even talked about it. I don't know how many more of these we're going to do before the year's over.
Maybe one or two, maybe. Yeah. We'll see. I mean, I haven't even looked at my calendar for the rest of the year, if I'm being really honest. We have like winter break, Viva break, so like things get a little chaotic schedule-wise, but maybe we'll sneak another one or two in.
Sounds very good. We should have a nice deluge of guests coming up in January and the beginning of the year.
Yep.
As always, if there's anything or anyone you guys want to hear from, let us know. Going to keep trucking along, trying to make a show that you guys want to watch.
Yeah.
Other than that, anything else?
No, not for today. Well,
rock and roll. Well, whether you're on vacation or, in the office trying to get that last data lock done, hope you guys have a great rest of your week, and we'll see you next time.
Catch you later.
Thanks for listening to Note to File. We're committed to continuing to bring you independent and unfiltered coverage of the clinical trial industry.
We want to talk about what you want to hear. So if you have something on your mind, hit us up at notetofilepodcast.com.